welcome to the channel, welcome to the channel, you guys. This is a fun little video for you guys. We're gonna do a tier maker on who we think is the best of all time and who we think isn't really the best of all time. So let's get the show on the road. Can you make that a little bit bigger? I can't see, even though I'm wearing glasses and I still can't fucking see the shit. All right, I think so. It's the colors that are putting me the fuck off. But it says, what's that red one say?
It says goats.
Oh, it says goats, great, good but not great,
Not great.
and not but full, not at full potential, but they're good.
And then we get the last and we get the last category that is
like
trash,
doo doo, trash,
rubbish for our UK fans,
flaming pile, dog shit.
But
for the UK fans, wankers.
That's a different terminology.
Well, I don't know. What do you say?
But besides that, so we are going to kick it off.
Rubbish.
Obviously, we're going to kick it off with Seth Rollins. I mean, when did they? Okay, so they actually had him when he had as the Universal. I think that is the Universal Championship.
Reign was good, but we're not gonna do it by year that's pictured. We're gonna be doing general. I'll put him in one of the GOAT tier because he's really fucking. He has the crowd in the palm of his hands. He's an over star. He's done incredible. I think he's one of the GOATs. Next guy, straight doo doo. I know who it is.
Yeah, I think everyone knows.
Great Khali, straight doo doo.
You got Bret Hart's net.
Bret Hart again, one of the GOATs. One of the GOATs.
It seemed okay. I mean,
and let's stop doing rapid fire for a minute here. Let's explain why we think Bret Hart is one of the GOATs for a minute. Ooh, excuse me. Great tactician in the ring. Tremendous wrestler in the ring. Promo skills, one of the best. One of my favorite feuds from Bret Hart was him and Stone Cold. Him and Stone Cold had like this tremendous feud. Where you had that sharpshooter, he wouldn't let go. He turned heel. They did that like this double turn thing, which is very, very creative. I loved it from both competitors. With this whole Stone Cold turning face because he never said I quit or submitted. He just took it. Bloodied up. And then Bret Hart got frustrated by it and he completely turns heel. What did you think of Bret Hart?
I mean, Bret Hart's pretty much has a lot of good storylines, and especially how he was portrayed. I mean, at the same time, too, I think everyone remembers the Montreal screw job. I think that's what a lot of people are kind of associating him with. I think that would have been that's probably early
Montreal screw job was 1997 against Shawn.
Okay. Out of the fact that, and his resume does kind of speak for itself. And not the kind of guy you do not want to piss off too. I mean,
he clocked, dude. He literally backstage clocked Vince McMahon in the face because he was that pissed over that situation. But again, ever since he was able to bury the hatchet with Shawn, him and Shawn are cool now, which is really cool. But yeah, the whole Montreal screw job thing was kind of like a black eye to the company there.
But it's still memorable. Probably the most infamous moments in company history regarding Bret Hart. And with Hart, too, when you look at his resume during his time, and yes, I know he's been around all over the damn place in different promotions he's been in, but in terms of his time with the WWE/WWF at the time, 5-time WWF champion, 1-time United States champion, 2-time Intercontinental champion, 2-time tag team champion with the late the Anvil Neidhart, 2-time King of the Ring winner in 1991 and 93. Somehow was a co-winner of the Royal Rumble in 1994 with Lex Luger.
That's when they both won the Rumble, and they were both they were. It was like for like WrestleMania 10, I think, because I think one went up against Yoko, and then the other one went up against Yoko or some shit. Because
Um,
this was around the same time where uh uh Brett had that feud with Owen.
which
Tremendous
we
feud. Loved that feud.
also a two-time WWE Hall of Famer, class of 2006 by himself, and obviously back in 2019 as a member of the Hart Foundation.
Yep.
1993 WWF Superstar of the Year, a second Triple Crown champion, five-time Slammy Award winner. Obviously with the Best New Generation spot in 1994, with the Go Get 'Em Champ commercial, the Best Music Video 96, Match of the Year at 1997 at WrestleMania 11, or I'm sorry, 12, with Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
He had 1996 put a fork in him. He's done the sharpshooter. I mean, look, the resume for Brett speaks for itself, and you can look this up as well because he's been like with other opponents like Stampede Wrestling up in Canada. Obviously, a Quebec Wrestling Hall of Famer in 2017. The dude, Pro Wrestling Illustrated. They have done some pretty
And
good work
here's
with.
the thing. And here's the thing. Even though my buddy Rob listed a long list of achievements, there's still more. There's
Oh yeah,
still
there
more.
is a lot more.
A whole lot more. Of achievements that Brett has, accomplished in his career. So yeah, GOAT status for the guy. GOAT status for sure. What's the next one?
Next up on the list, current CEO slash content create
He's
head
not.
create
No, he's not CEO. He's not CEO. He's just head writer.
or the head writer of WWE, Triple H.
For his work throughout the late 90s, early 2000s to the 2010s, and part of the 2020s, we can count that before the Hart thing, which I hated that happened, and that's what took him out of the wrestling business, or took him out of in-ring competition, shall I say. The man has one hell of a career, and he's already in the hall one time with DX. Him as like a standalone wrestler, I gotta fix this headphone. But him as like the one time, him as a standalone wrestler, he's got to be in the Hall of Fame. He's got to by himself. He's got to. So I'm gonna put him at one of the GOAT statuses too. At GOAT status.
And to piggyback off for Triple H too, and he's a nine-time WWE champ, a five-time World Heavyweight Championship winner, five-time Intercontinental Champion. I'm surprised he's held that belt five times, which is shocking.
That was, but you got to think too. That was when he was that blue blood British.
Oh yeah, that crappy
character. He was the IC champ there, and then when he first went to DX, he won that title.
Oh, and that's the thing too, and that's why Triple H is considered one of the greats, because not to mention the fact he overcome two bad gimmicks in the wrestling business.
Two, terrorizing and fucking
which was utterly atrocious.
You took one word and made it a name, terrorizing, and then you're like, oh, let's break it up and make it a name. Like, that's stupid. But it was also a French guy. I'm like, the fuck. But then he came to WWE and he was like a British dude. I'm like, what the hell is this shit? And then he became the Game, and that blew up, and he had a great career after that. But let's move on to the next.
Next, we have Mr. Monday Night himself, Rob Van Dam.
For me, I won't put him at GOAT status. I'll put him at great. He was never able to like reach he's not like the GOAT when people think of wrestlers. He's great. One-time WWE champion. I think it was he won the Intercontinental belt multiple times. He won a tag team championship in WWE multiple times.
So he's a one-time WWE champion, one-time ECW World Heavyweight Champion, one-time European champion, four-time Hardcore champion. No surprise there. A six-time Intercontinental champion.
Yeah.
One-time tag team champion with Rey Mysterio, which Jesus.
That was a killer tag team. But the funny thing is they called their finishing move and they finessed the shit out of Vince, because Vince caught on really quickly that it was a weed reference,
Yeah.
and then Rob Van Dam finessed him like, no, 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 420 means to spin. It doesn't mean weed. It means to spin. How many times Ray spins in the air? It was funny.
But he's a two-time world tag team champion. But at this time, this was on the Raw brand, once with Kane and once with Booker T.
Oh, I loved his little run with Booker T. It reminded me of Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. And that was,
And yeah, he was the 2006 Money in the Bank winner.
yep, that's when he
2000,
went on. That's when he went on to win the WWE Championship for the first and only time.
Seventh, he's a seventh in company history as the Grand Slam champion, 15th Triple Crown champion, also part of the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2021.
Yeah.
I just feel like Rob Van Dam is just one of those guys that's like, he's entertaining, but the fact that I would say more upper mid card by his stand.
He was kind of just he reached the main event once, but you know, him getting in trouble with having weed in the car and getting that DUI when weed wasn't exactly legal yet. I like the thing with that kind of hinders it a little bit, because if he would have stayed in the main event scene, he probably would have gone up in this list.
Yeah,
he would have gotten up in this tier list, but right now he's great. But
now we got Chris Jericho. Say what you want about by now.
Say what you want about the whole learning tree thing and the whole AEW stint and him, you know, kind of being washed up now. But in his day, he was that guy.
He was that dude.
He was that guy.
I think you can consider him as another GOAT too. Look,
yeah,
first guy to hold the IC belt 9 times.
He also was the world heavyweight. He was the world champion he was the WCW and the WWE champion at the same time.
Yeah, I think becomes the undisputed champion.
He was the first undisputed champion in WWE history.
There's a lot of things and Chris Jericho is just one of those guys. No, even minus the championship contract, the dude knows how to adapt. Depending on
he does. And honestly, it kind of the whole learning tree thing kind of grew on me a little bit. I find it funny. Unlike some people that don't find it funny, which if you don't find it funny, then that's fine. But I find it funny because like he's trying to be like, he's like an asshole, but he's also trying to mask it like being a nice guy, which is hilarious to me. But yeah, his ability to adapt to different gimmicks is just great, bar none, dude, bar none.
Bar none, absolutely. We got the Big Show. Oh God.
For me, he was only good, but not great. He was only good to me. Like he was like he had like when he became the Big Show, it was better than what the Giant was in WCW.
In WCW in the mid
'90s. In my opinion, night and day. But for me, he was never really able to reach his full potential because, and it's not at fault him. He's a tremendous wrestler. He was just never able to get a character to click, you know, in terms of being the Big Show and shit like that. Because, and also booking is an issue because the whole constant heel face turns.
Yeah.
Like over the years, it started in the late '90s and it stretched beyond that, you know, way beyond that with the whole heel face bullshit. But the thing is, though, he was never able to adapt to and never able to honestly get the crowd invested in something.
I mean, and while that is also true, but his WWE resume
is good. He's a multiple time WWE champion. He's a world heavyweight champion. He's a tag team champion. Like
ECW, God, just remember those fucking
champion.
days.
When ECW 06 was a thing, and that shit was ass.
He's a 3-time hardcore champion.
We're gonna exclude that from the whole thing.
But the dude has
the resume is there. The problem is
it's execution.
It's more than just, you know, championship titles to me. It's more than that. You got to have a crowd behind you. You got to have you know, that crowd popper. That if you're a heel, you want to have the crowd hate your ass. He was never
100%.
he was never able to do that on both fronts. The only time he was able to do that, his best year to me will always be 2002 and part of 03. That's it. When
And
like the whole and I would say only like 2002 to 2004, that was his peak. Cuz he
after
had
that,
some
he just
after that it was kind of like he fell down to the mid card, or he was just like he wasn't getting over. Nobody was gravitating towards him. They
because it's
tried this
like
they tried this like thing when he was a heel again in 06 with him being in a tag team with Kane. That never really stuck. Um Jericho, that was kind of that it was okay. Jericho in 09, but that was more so him being the replacement for Edge because he got hurt. It was supposed to be just Edge and Chris, but Edge got hurt, so he was a replacement. Luckily, for some reason, that kind of got over,
but
but
didn't really.
it didn't really stick that well. There was a lot of things that, on paper, it sounded good.
It's just the execution
The
was just not there.
execution was just wasn't there.
And honestly, it's kind of cool. But it really is a shame for a guy like the Big Show. You know, the resume speaks for itself, but the execution with him has been
I feel like the problem with his booking is the fact that a man of his size should not be booked heavily the way that he was. He should have been an attraction type of character where he just shows
kind of
up on occasion,
like I
kind of
would say.
kind of like a Brock Lesnar today or a Roman Reigns today.
I was going to make a comparison too. I mean, with Andre the Giant,
Like Andre the Giant, he barely wrestled on like superstars or anything. He showed up to like a WrestleMania against Hogan, or you only hear about his matches on a pay-per-view.
yeah,
That's
and
it.
because Big Show was just he was there consistently on TV,
He was
which kind
there
of really
consistently
ruined
on
it.
TV. They tried to make him a legit character that's on TV every week. And for a guy like that, that's something you just don't do. Same thing with Khali. Even though he couldn't wrestle, which that's also part of the problem, he's an attraction. You had him featured on Raw and SmackDown every week.
And the one thing I will say too with Collie too, he knew how to get the people invested for a guy that couldn't wrestle out of a wet paper
Now,
bag.
as a character, the guy did have the people invested. He had the fans invested in what he did. Like when he became that comedy Punjabi playboy
Yeah,
character,
but people loved it.
people loved the shit out of that. When he was doing the kiss cam thing, where he brought like women from the stands out to the ring to give him a big old kiss on the cheek, like it got over. Like Kali could get over, he just couldn't wrestle. So that's why we still have him at trash.
And also one of the worst world heavyweight champions in
Oh,
company history.
the man couldn't
Just
even
gonna
hold
throw
the
that in
belt
there.
up the bro. He couldn't even hold the belt up the right way. He always held it upside down.
But moving on, we have the 16-time world champ Ric Flair.
Shit. I'm gonna say this: shit person, but he's still the goat. When it comes to like his in ring ability and his like promos and stuff like that, he's still the goat.
I mean, the
But
fact that he had
as a person, he's pretty fucking shit. But as like a wrestler, you can't deny his accolades. You can't deny
you
his
really
work.
can't. And the fact of the
You
matter
can't.
is, like, and his promos too. Like nowadays, like you don't really see because Ric Flair is just one of those kind of guys who will put emotion into his promos.
Like
There's very
for some
few.
reason, I still think he overdoes it. And this is where that one promo that like cracked me up was like, "Don't blow a gasket, kid.
As that was Stone Cold said, as he
Don't
once
blow a
said,
gasket, kid." I go, "What?
"Don't blow your pacemaker, kid."
Oh,
Which kind of funny
don't
nowadays.
blow your
He does,
pacemaker."
which is kind
And
of funny now.
like
Not
he wrestled with a pacemaker and damn near died. But that was his
yeah,
decision. He's
but
still one of the goats despite that. But
and also yeah. Next, This is more modern. We have a modern guy up on here. That's AJ Styles.
Goat, one of the goats, because his resume speaks for itself. Everywhere he's gone, he's gotten over with the fans. He's become the top guy in every company that he's worked for, whether it is TNA, New Japan, Ring of Honor, anywhere else. Like he's gotten over, and
I mean, I will say his
and
later
we've
year,
and we've also read through his like list of accolades before. World champion, world champion, world champion, world champion in
like
every
this.
company. Like he's one of the goats. He's up
True,
there.
and he's one of those guys that also had a little adversity, especially in his younger years. But if everybody remembers his later years with TNA, and he talked about this too. It's like, like TNA almost fucking ruined him.
I feel like the problem with that was the fact that these were the years where TNA was going to shit. And this is why he left TNA, because he saw the writing on the wall, and he also wanted more money, and they weren't willing to pay him.
And what's also great about AJ Styles too is I think WWE has treated AJ Styles a whole lot better than TNA ever did. To me, that is.
For me, I feel like they were treating him well from 2002 on to maybe 2014. When 2014 hit, they were misusing the shit out of him. Yeah, they had him in the main on TV a lot. They had him in that main event scene a lot, but he was losing matches. You could see the creative direction that they were trying to go. Like, I kind of saw the creative direction with the whole Aces and Eights thing,
which on paper had potential to be great.
But yeah, on paper it was a great storyline, but at the end the execution was shit. But here's the thing, with the AJ Styles side of things, it was like they didn't know whether or not to turn this man heel. Like, they were indecisive as hell with it. Like, they had him show up one week with that banger heel theme that he had, Evil Ways or whatever it was called.
I think it might have been Evil Ways.
It was a banger theme, and he came out hood up, like acting like he didn't give a shit about nothing, right? He was heel, full heel to the gills, right? Immediately turns face. Huh? He turned heel for the entrance, and then as soon as he gets to the ring, he's face.
Like, and that's the thing too. Like, and also, like his best, I would say, in a very short time frame. I think it's his run in New Japan. I think where it kind of really showed
his run in New Japan. That revitalized his entire career, in a sense. It revitalized it because they had him turn heel, join Bullet Club, one of the best factions of that time.
And the fact that he got onto WWE's radar, which, and it's kind of funny, in 2016 when he made his debut, it's like, damn.
At that point in time, that was when I first started watching wrestling again. It was like around Royal Rumble into the summer. I didn't watch WrestleMania. I was like, I was dipping my toe in, like Royal Rumble time. I was dipping my toe in. Then I saw AJ Styles there. I'm like, holy shit, they signed him. Like, I did not.
And ever since then, I mean, he's been
he's
been on the shelf of more than a few times.
Yeah, he's been on the shelf quite a bit there. Like, the injury bug kind of hit him a little bit. But when he's been on TV, he's been prominently used in storylines. Multiple time Intercontinental Champion, multiple time WWE Champion. I don't think he's ever held the Universal belt when that was a thing.
Thank God for that.
Thank God for that shit, because that belt was dumb.
But overall, AJ is just going to be one that goes down. And when it's all said and done, I think he's going to be a WWE Hall of Famer when it's all said and done.
First ballot all day, yeah.
Now we got NWO Kevin Nash. And I will tell you, for me, I would say he's not the GOAT, but he was great for what. And
I was going to say the same thing.
Now,
I feel like his best work was like a few years before that, was when he was Diesel. That was his best work.
Now,
absolute best.
the one thing I did see, I've heard a lot with the Diesel character. His championship booking was not the greatest
It was
by
shoddy, but that's not fault from him. That's fault of Vince. The booking being shoddy. But that was when WWE, that was at their low point, the mid '90s.
yeah, and that's kind of crazy, and that's kind of
That was
shocking
one.
that
That was one of the first dominoes to fall for the Attitude Era. Was when WWE was just shit in the mid '90s. Also, WCW was kind of shit in the mid '90s.
and the thing is too, and the one thing I'll say, look, I know Kevin Nash nowadays has been kind of off the loop. If you catch my meaning,
I'm not.
but
I don't think he's been loopy. He's been okay. I mean, competent, but
obviously the last, I would say, couple years hasn't done too kindly to him, especially
you lost
Scott
friend.
Hall,
You
which
lost your best friend, and then you lose your son.
yeah, like the dude had a string of bad luck of
Yeah.
losing someone that's close to him.
So, but yeah, that's why.
Now,
Like, we feel bad for the guy, but in his career, he was never really that guy to like really elevate it to GOAT status. He was great, tremendous worker, tremendous, size.
and a lot of people, I would say, if it weren't for the NWO, we wouldn't, especially Kevin Nash in particular, and the late Scott Hall, we would never had that. The money, what would become the Monday Night Wars. A lot of people really tend to forget Hall and Nash.
That
really
that was literally the first domino to fall in '96 for the Attitude Era. That was the
as
first
the outsiders.
as the outsiders, because as soon as the NWO became a thing, WCW immediately got edgy. And WWE is like, oh shit, we got to get edgy. Like by '97, they're like, yeah, we need to get edgy.
And Tyler, to piggyback over that too, and that's kind of where you, and like I said, going back, and this also ties in with Nash too. He kind of helped reshape, I guess you could say, double CW in terms of the booking, the production.
The thing is though, it's not just that he helped that company. That whole NWO thing, it completely changed the landscape of the entire wrestling business.
Yeah, and we still talk about it almost 25 years later.
Yeah,
because of that. And like I said, I can't thank Kevin Nash enough.
And it's all because of, honestly, three men. It was all because of Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Hulk Hogan.
Even though it's kind of crazy to really say that, but
crazy that we're saying it because the guy's a fucking racist, but
and a massive politicker. But that's neither here nor there. But Kevin Nash, to me, look, he would never be one of my goats. But if his career, if his booking turned out a lot better than what it was in the mid '90s, going into,
he would have been.
Yeah, this would have been. But
let's go to our next competitor here.
We got Alberto Del Rio, or Patron, or whatever he's going by these days.
Honestly, just by him being a woman beater, put him at trash. I don't care. Put him at trash. I don't like him.
And that's the thing too.
And also too, he was never able to really get over. We got over that one time in 2011. That was very fluky.
Yeah, like a
very fucking fluky.
We basically will call that a 1 year wonder.
1 year wonder from him. But I'm putting him at trash, not because his inability to get over, not just because his matches were just mid.
Yeah.
Kind of mid. It's because outside the business, he's a shit person.
Oh yeah, it's well documented that he is
completely shit. He beats up women, that he's with. He's done some shitty things, and that's why I'm putting him at trash. But anyway, let's.
Well, we all know this is completely obvious. The Texas Rattlesnake. That's in the GOAT status.
You can say too, but Stone Cold reportedly beat a woman too.
Yeah, I remember that story
came out to be completely fucking false, though. Completely false. It came out later that it was not true. So that's why we're not being hypocrites about it,
But like I said, you gotta make false allegations suck.
The false allegations were just shitty.
Now, yes, and yes, Stone Cold had. Yeah, we all know that his career technically ended in 2003. I mean, it was going to be in regards had he not.
Technically ended at 2003, but you can really also make the case it ended in 2022 with that one match.
Yeah, and the fact he could still take buns
2021.
at his
It
age.
was either 2021 or 22. I forgot. No, it was 22. It was
It
22.
was 22.
It was 2022 when he came back for one more match against Kevin Owens. So I'm not going to count 03. I'm counting 2022 being his official retirement. So who's next?
We got the looks like the authority figure Baron Corbin, but
But we're not going to count that. We're going to count Baron Corbin in general. I'll say he's good, but not great.
Great.
Because and I want to put him at great because I like the guy.
It's the booking.
The characters they given him were just so shit. You know, Constable Corbin, it was good for a minute. It was good for a minute, but the problem was it was getting shoved down our damn throats. That was the thing. And then they tried to do the Happy Corbin thing. Then the bum ass Baron Corbin. The only thing that really helped that gimmick was Pat McAfee. Let's be honest. Call him a bum ass every week. That's the only thing that got him over a little bit. But you know, the current iteration, the burn the ships Corbin, I'm calling him. It's great. I love it. And also
it does kind of somewhat call back to the Lone Wolf.
But it's basically it's not really a callback to Lone Wolf. It's basically, if you look at the beginning of that storyline, he says fuck gimmicks. Because he burnt every gimmick. Remember in NXT when he did that? He burnt every gimmick. He said, fuck gimmicks, I'm being me.
And
it worked out for him. It worked out for him. So
and that's the thing too. It's like if they could have done this a whole lot sooner, we could have bumping up a spot in the team.
Yeah, we could have bumped him up, you know, a lot sooner, you know?
And like I said, I'll give and that's the one thing too with Baron Corbin. I'll give this man a tremendous amount of credit to go through all the bullshit that this company has given him from a character perspective. Besides that, we got Hulk Hogan. His next,
I would put him at GOAT status because of all he gave to wrestling. But the problem is, it pains me to do it because the guy's a fucking dick in real life. So it's like...
So either way, it's a double-edged sword here.
It's a double-edged sword, but let's move on. I don't want to talk about Hulk.
We got Jon Moxley. I would say he's not GOAT just yet.
For me, he's great. The problem with me with him...
He bleeds too much.
He bleeds way too fucking much. You don't need to bleed every week, Mox.
And
he even bladed at New Japan. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
And yes, a lot of people, and and the biggest thing people, and that's with Mox. Yeah, he was a deathmatch wrestler. They're very notorious for that.
Yeah,
and yes, wrestling is very also notorious with certain wrestlers that do blade. Now, and which happens, I get that. But next, we got my guy, CM Punk.
I feel like he's one of the GOATs because he has the crowd in the palm of his hand half the time, and people love him. He's got haters, and you can make a point as he used to not be the greatest guy to his coworkers before, and and shit like that. But the thing is, though, right now he is matured. He is matured greatly. He's one of the best workers. People love him. Some people do still hate him.
And still, I would say be part of two great storylines going down the road.
He's part of two great storylines. Him and Drew, and also him and Seth.
Which gets kind of funny since you mentioned Seth. We put both in the GOAT category. So now that's gonna be funny too.
We ain't gonna get a like from Seth Rollins, I'll tell you that much. But anyway.
But next up, I would say, technically, if you want to tell about the revolutionary of the cruiserweight division, and that's Rey Mysterio.
Oh, Rey's one of the GOATs.
Ray is to go down as one of the greatest.
No hesitation right there. Rey's one of the GOATs.
And you can't replicate of what Ray has done.
You can't deny it. You cannot deny it. Like Ray, he's beloved by the fans. Kind of funny that in WWE he has never turned heel. Never.
Yeah, which is funny.
when he debuted in 2002 to 2024, that whole entire time, he has never turned heel. Never. And yeah, he had some like stints in other companies. When he left the company in 2014, he went to Lucha Underground for a minute, and then he was like on the Indies, and
which
then he
is
came back.
which that really surprised me. It's
But
like,
even in Lucha Underground, and even in the Indies, that man never turned heel.
no, that's the funny
Never
thing.
in his career.
He's
The
just
only time
he's just one of those natural baby faces you just can't hate.
the only time he turned heel was in WCW, and I don't even think that was well received.
And if you think about it too, remember this was at the same time too. He also lost a match. It lost a hair versus mask match.
He lost the mask,
And
and
when
then they turned him into like this like Latino GTA type of character,
which I didn't mind it
It
first,
was cool. It was cool,
but
at
it was just so
times.
damn weird seeing Ray
It
without
was,
the mask.
it was just no one could get past that he wasn't wearing the mask. No one could get past it.
But
Um,
but
I
next,
but yeah, the next competitor is
talk about the biggest fucking ego by modern standards.
the guy in real life has the guy legitimately has the biggest damn ego. Let me mute my mic for a minute.
But yeah, in terms of we talk about The Rock,
Oh, no, never mind. I'll just say what's going on. But yeah, biggest fucking ego. But
but the still
I can't deny that he's one of the goats. He's one of the pillars for the Attitude Era. One of the pillars, one of the faces of the company that you automatically recognize, like Stone Cold. Oh, it's The Rock. And shit like that.
yeah,
But the guy has the biggest fucking ego. Like ever since he went Hollywood,
it,
Hollywood Rock ain't no fucking gimmick anymore. The guy's a fucking douche when it comes to because he tried to screw over Cody and shit like that, and all that was a mess. And then he pivoted back and he lied about it on a fucking documentary, which whatever. But
but
I
next
don't want to have a fight in the comments. So
but
that's my fight in the comments.
after that we have Daniel Bryan.
For me,
Uh,
for me,
this
his
is that's
WWE for his WWE run, he's one of the goats. And also his AEW run, he also has the people in the palm of his hand.
so
He's
we got
also
him in the goat category
put him in the goat. Put him in the goat.
as a legitimate goat,
He's,
or
he looks like a goat.
yeah,
Sorry.
I think that's what.
You know what? Sorry, Daniel. Sorry, we love you, Brian Danielson.
So we gotta get. So we got. I would say another obvious goat, and that's the rated R superstar
Obviously.
and Edge.
And I'm not going to explain to you why. It's self-explanatory.
I
Look
mean,
at his career. Look at his career, man. It's self-explanatory. I ain't
look,
got to explain shit to you guys about that.
first guy broke into WWE after coming from WCW as Sexton Hardcastle, which, good lord, I don't know. Thank God
Sexton.
that was his WCW name, was Sexton Hardcastle.
Sexton Hardcastle. What in the cartoony ass name is that?
And obviously, from according to Edge, from some of the stories he's told, like they actually built him up pretty well in his debut, and unfortunately, it was against a scrub. But that's neither here nor there.
The guy. Well, it wasn't really a scrub. It was the fact that he couldn't dive outside the ring.
Yeah,
because he over rotated and pinched his fucking neck. But ironically, it was kind of freaky though because Edge had that same fucking injury.
Yeah, that's kind of really broke the hearts of wrestling fans in 2009.
Dude, when he retired in 2011, I legit cried in bed, bro.
Yeah, like it really does show you like the impact that even Edge even still has at the end of the day. Yeah. And speaking of that, talk about one of his greatest rivals in 2006. We got the 16-time, hopefully at some point, the 17-time world champion,
the man,
John Cena.
The man, the myth, the legend, in his final year. So we are able to pinpoint where he is. He is GOAT status. He
I
is.
mean, if you think about it,
Love
like
him or love him or hate him. You know, you can hate him for the whole PG thing and him catering to kids, but that was more so the company's decision to have, you know, become PG and shit like that. So it's not really him, but his line of work, you can't discredit it, man. You can't
let's be
discredit.
real,
He's one
and
of
that,
the goats.
goats and his own right, not just in the ring, but also on the mic. I would say he's better than The Rock, and I will say that flat out of my. I know that really pains me. So as someone who's watched The Rock in the Attitude Era,
I think he's better than The Rock, but like he's
to
up there.
me,
He's up
I
there.
think Cena is better than The Rock.
I mean, he did beat him one time, but
I mean, shoot, he can cook. He can cook you with a fucking half voice,
bro, he's like
aka Solo.
but here's the thing: it was Solo. Solo can't even get over. But he also cooked Austin Theory before Mania. You know,
Yeah,
like
that
because he was like he told Austin Theory, he goes, even if you win, the crowd ain't gonna like you. And what happened? The crowd didn't
nobody
like
liked
him.
him.
He was right.
He was pretty much in career. I would say career purgatory for Austin Theory. Now, it
And
really is going to
Cena,
fucking.
and after Cena cooked his ass, at me or before Mania, that Raw or that SmackDown promo, it was just like, yeah, he's cooked.
Yeah, you're done.
Like we looked at each other after that damn promo, and we both agreed that Austin Theory was fucking cooked.
It was cooked medium well.
No, he was cooked like a rubbery piece of steak, like cooked well done, cooked.
But I will say this too, though, for the last final thought before we move on. It is going to suck because obviously when he hangs it up.
It pains me because we know in December of next year he is done fully, and it sucks. But you know he's
But
getting older.
next,
We saw his career was going to die down anyway because of the whole movie thing. He's doing more movies now because of his age. He doesn't want to wrestle and beat up his body that much anymore. So
I mean, despite the fact the dude looks fucking jacked as shit.
he does.
I mean, then again, he was a bodybuilder, so. But we got Kane that was unmasked. I would say around what 2003, if I'm guessing correctly.
I feel like if we're just gonna pinpoint the era of Kane, I think late '90s goated, late '90s goated. But if we're gonna talk about unmasked Kane from 03 on, man, he was just great. I mean, he was like it was like, you know, when he unmasked, it was cool in the beginning because he was a complete psychopath in 03.
Yeah, that.
But after that, he just became some guy.
Yeah, then after that became a corporate stooge, but
He became a corporate stooge.
We don't talk about that.
2014, and yeah, we don't ever talk about it. Let's not bring that up again.
But moving on, we got Brock Lesnar. Now I know I'm going to say that
again. You know, this is if we're talking pinpoint. If we're talking about pinpointing years, 2002 to 04, Brock, amazing. If we're talking about 2012 to now, part timer, barely wrestles. He only does like 15 suplexes and 30 F5s and shit. Now it's like back then, goated. But
now I think it's just good, but not great for me.
I can't even put him at great for now. I have to put him at
and
good.
and yes, Brock Lesnar's not getting any younger, so I that's the
Bro,
one
so
thing.
now we are pinpointing eras because we got
Now I got the attitude era,
goated,
which
goated,
yeah,
goated.
but as the scumbag.
Person, he's a fucking dick. But you know, in the ring, he was goated here. Kurt Angle.
That's kind of self-explanatory.
No, he won a gold medal with a broken
freaking neck. I mean, the dude guy also got choked.
That's the only explanation you're getting. He won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck.
How about two explanations? That's the same dude who got choked out by Taz at the Royal Rumble in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, he's also the same guy that kind of took a shooting star press from Brock, and Brock nearly.
I'm surprised how Brock didn't break his freaking neck on that. No pun intended.
I watched that back. I'm like, how the fuck did he not break his neck in that match?
Next, Jesus, we got another self-explanatory. That's Randy Orton.
Both characters, Legend Killer, Viper.
Obviously 2009. For me, I think his best years was in 2009.
Dude, he was a ruthless asshole that year. Holy hell. 2009, Randy? Yo, that man was on
I mean,
demon time.
and it's kind of crazy too. How like, well, we don't know how long he's got left in the tank too. Because good lord, that's gonna fucking hurt too. When
He
that's
probably has a few years left. He says he wants to go till 50, but I don't know.
that depends. Well, and the fact that
Depends on
he's
how his
coming,
body, treats him the next few
and the
years.
fact he just had what spinal surgery about a year and a half ago that kept him out.
And we thought when he was out with the spinal surgery, he was retiring then. But no, he came back, and his back has been fine lately. But
next,
you can't always really pinpoint age. You gotta pinpoint like where your body's at.
But next we got Batista.
Goated.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it starts right after he wins the World Heavyweight title from Triple H. That's when it really started.
Yeah, and Triple H finally realized, okay, I can put.
The problem though, he wanted to put over Randy. The problem was Randy was so green, he wasn't ready. He wasn't getting over as a babyface either. So I feel the reason why he got the title back was because Randy wasn't ready.
But next, we got the late Roddy Piper.
Oh, we're going Roddy, huh? I'm going Roddy here.
Oh God, this is a hard explanation with Roddy.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if he doesn't win the WWE Championship. His character work, next to none. But one of the best heels in WWE history. He was also really good as a face too. But yeah, he's goated. He didn't win the World Heavyweight. He didn't win the WWE Championship, which he should have. But it was because of Hogan, obviously, with the
yeah. Well,
this one is self-explanatory.
Self-explanatory. I mean, look, the dude had the undefeated streak. Now, at the time, and that's the thing too. A lot of people looking back at it now, it's like, now it's like that's nothing too special by today's standards. But back then, that meant something.
Here's the reason why that people think it's not special anymore. It's because Brock broke it in 2014.
Which I would say when you talk about shocking,
shouldn't have happened. But
even Paul, I think Mark Calloway did say like he wanted somebody else. Well, unfortunately,
he wanted Edge to beat it. No, it was like 2008. He wanted Edge to beat it, and Edge said no. Edge said no. I ain't beating that shit. We're keeping that shit alive. Which honestly, I think Undertaker's call should have happened. I think Edge should have been the guy to do it, or Cena, or somebody else.
Good Lord, seeing Cena break the streak, that's going to even be shocking in its own right too. Like either way,
I feel like it should have been a guy like Edge though that would just beat the streak in 2008. That would have been cool, but
unfortunately, it is what it is for that. And nowadays, I mean, the dude's living his best life, fully retired.
Oh yeah,
I mean, the fact that this dude put up almost over 30 years.
30.
Debuted in Survivor Series 1990 at the same time.
He retired in 2020. So it's exactly 30 years from 1990 to 2020.
I mean, it's probably still the same guy that Les Bruno has 3 great fucking gimmicks that actually got over with a lot of people. You got the Dead Man, you got the Big Red, or is it Big Evil?
It was Dead Man from 1990 to 19. He had like 5 or 6 gimmicks in the span of like from 1990 to 2003. He had the original Dead Man gimmick with the purple gloves from 1990 to 96, 97, and then he'd gone like the new attire, but it was the same character.
This was those were his ministry years.
This was like from like 97 on. It was like the transition to the Ministry of Darkness taker. Which, again, why the fuck did they come with that theme?
Even though,
Hulk
let's bro,
used to,
that faction didn't last long, which kind of bummed me
it
out.
lasted like part of like 98 into 99, and then it like died off. Everybody like did their own thing. I
And then
think
at
it's
the
because
same,
Taker. I think it was because Taker got hurt in 99.
I think so. And at
It
the
was
same time,
because
dude, this
Taker,
was
because they were gonna like if you looked at the back half of the Ministry of Darkness gimmick, he was transitioning into the American Badass character.
which
It was
was fucking
supposed to. It was supposed to come sooner, but he got hurt in late '99. They
and
pushed
it
it.
just
They pushed it to 2000, and
and
he came
let's
back in
just say the rest is
2000,
it.
and the rest was history. That gimmick got over.
Like the dude, like he's just, and yes, this was the same guy who made Teddy Long's life a living fucking hell almost every
Buckle
week
up,
on SmackDown.
Teddy. Buckle up,
but
Teddy.
but
That shit was funny.
Undertaker's just one of those guys. As a kid, he does freak you the hell out because of what he, and that's what the beauty of the.
For me, like when you're a kid and you see the Undertaker, it's like when they say like when you see this man, like the whole room goes cold. It legit kind of feels like the room gets cold.
Yeah, it feels like the devil himself walked into the room.
Yeah, and then you have Kane jump scaring people with the pyro.
We're looking at you, Coachman.
Yeah, Coach. Why'd you lean back in the chair and then when the pyro goes off, you go flying back?
But I will say, so the last and final contestant, and that is Mick Foley. Good God.
We got so many goats, man.
Like, that's and the thing with Mick Foley, like, there's a lot of explanations you can go with. The dude, iconic moment of getting tossed off the Hell in a Cell onto straight concrete.
Bro, it's. I feel like it wasn't like he had the table to break his fall, but also too like he went through the top of the cage. That spot wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, it was not supposed to happen.
The problem is you got two big men on the top of the cage. That shit was snapping.
And
like they both competitors, both Taker and Mankind, Mick Foley, they both heard pink that the things were breaking.
I was like, oh shit.
The cage was breaking. They were thinking the whole thing was gonna cave in, they were gonna both fall.
We still made for a devastating spot, even though that was unplanned.
It was. But then they
Oh.
What? Wait, why did the screen go?
Oh yeah, you actually froze a little bit.
The fuck. But hey, the top of the cage, like they rigged it after the fact because they thought that shit looked cool, to where it was a door that you can slam people through.
Yeah.
But
I mean, this is the same guy who took multiple unprotected chair shots to the fucking Chrome Dome.
That too, but also back to the Hell in a Cell, when he took that spot where he fell through the middle of the thing, his tooth shot up through his lip into his nose.
Yeah, I mean,
and the man smiled. The man smiled.
When we tell you that, like, this dude was insane. For
the guy was nuts. The guy was batshit crazy. The man lost an ear, didn't bat an eye. Lost an ear, didn't bat an eye. Lost a tooth, didn't bat an eye. He smiled through that shit. He got knocked the fuck out. He got put on a stretcher, woke up, went back, climbed the cage again.
That's like, dude, like
or no. That was before the spot where he went through the middle of the cage. No, he got tossed off the bitch, right, by Taker onto a flimsy ass announce table and concrete, knocked out, put him on the stretcher. Motherfucker gets up, runs to the cage, climbs the cage again, and goes through the bitch.
Yeah, and that's the thing too with Mick Foley. The word "quit" is not in his vocabulary, as he once said.
He never quit. I also liked his match against Randy Orton in 04, Backlash 04.
Yeah,
one of the best feuds.
And yeah, I know there's gonna be a lot of people are gonna remember, or probably sure. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get some older fans in the comments gonna reminisce about his ECW days.
That was also great stuff too. That was also great stuff.
And I will say this too about Mick Foley. He is super underrated on the mic when you get it, when he gets the chance.
I saw the one promo that he cut from like ECW on YouTube. I'm like, holy shit.
A lot of people
man could speak.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Like, people never appreciated how good of a speaker he really
He
was.
was, yeah, and also like for me, even though the 2006 heel turn was just terrible in its own right, because everybody loved Mick, so there was no reason to turn him heel. That one promo that he cut, where he like, was like dissing ECW, saying it was like an ex that couldn't let him go.
Yeah.
Like that was one of his best promos as a heel in WWE, and I loved it. And I watched that back. I'm like, even though the heel turn sucked, that promo was awesome.
It really was. And as we come to a close, that is going to do it for the tier list.
Let us know what you think and make your own tier list. And if you'd like to send them in on and see and let us see like where you rank them, send like a
Oh,
picture.
absolutely.
Send like a picture of your tier list on on our Twitters. Screenshot it. You can use your phone to make the tier list too. Just make
Absolutely.
sure you're using a good browser, because if you use a shitty browser, they have like this like weird picture effect that happens. Where I've
I
tried it. And we almost canceled the video because of this. I'm like,
but
yeah,
besides,
if you're using a shitty browser, don't send it in. If you're using a better like Chrome or something, use that. Like even if you have an iPhone, use Safari, because Safari works well with Tiermaker. But other than that, like don't use knockoff uh fucking browsers, because Tiermaker doesn't work on them. But like be sure to like send your list in, because this is just a very opinionated type of thing. You might not agree with our list, and that's fine. That's completely
because
fine.
and we'll do a separate video and break them down and stuff like that. Or or if you like to, like we could talk about it on the It's Really podcast and kind of break them all down and give you guys quick shout outs as we go along.
We honestly, I think we can do that too. Like, we can go through each of our viewers' like list. We can just talk about it on the podcast. Do that. Give more to that fan interaction. I like that
Yeah.
idea. I like that idea from you. I
But
like it.
that being said, guys, appreciate you guys for tuning in this video.
Yeah.
If you guys like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.